Now, for more on finance, we're joined by Rod North, the Executive Director of Bourse Communications. Good morning. Just very quickly, we're hearing that there could be a press conference being held by European leaders in Brussels within the hour. So what are we likely to hear come out of that, given that these talks have now gone on for, well, by about 7 hours?
Well, that's, I think, the $64,000 question. And I mean, I think I've been sort of looking, Euro, that's right, I've been looking this morning just to see. And I mean, it's been a marathon. Obviously, it's been going for 6 hours. And I think it's a bit like waiting for a puff of smoke to come out to sort of indicate that an agreement's been reached. But I think there's some concern, I suppose, usually when negotiations take as long as this. Perhaps there's been a whole lot of other issues that have come up during those negotiations. But it's going to be very difficult to say. I suppose one of the things that's quite encouraging is that the markets have been very much indicating over the last few days that it's expected that a resolution will be achieved. And obviously one of the biggest concerns is that there is that $14.5 billion bond rollover coming up on the 20th of March. So it's obviously very important that an agreement is reached. And I'm still pretty optimistic that that's the case, because the markets are pretty much telling us that. I mean, we came off the back of a very strong market on Friday on Wall Street. Our market was up quite a bit yesterday too, by 1%. So I think they're all encouraging signs, but really, unless you've got a crystal ball, you really don't know, because so much of the negotiations is also about being prepared, you know, to take a fair bit of austerity in respect to what you know, is expected from the people you know, in Greece as well. And you know, that can be a bit unpalatable if it's cutting minimum wages and cutting pensions and things like that. So you can imagine why the discussions have gone on as long as they have.
At this time of year, the Australian market is also swayed by those half-year results, which have been pretty much a mixed bag.
Yes, they have, and what we've seen just in the last few days is some pretty sort of average results, you know, coming out. You know, we had BlueScope Steel yesterday, which, you know, wasn't a great result, but I mean, there's lots of reasons to explain that with a high dollar and, you know, the fact that companies had to restructure itself. And I think a lot of these companies are using the opportunity to really get their balance sheets in order. But yeah, the results are mixed. This is the biggest week and next week for all the company results to come out. And we've seen, I suppose, the real highlights being the banks, you know, have come out with extraordinarily good profits. But a lot of the other, you know, companies that have reported really haven't come out with results that are that good for the half year. So we're sort of hoping that the second half of the year to the 30th of June will show some significant improvement.
Now, the last time we had you on the couch, you were quite cool about the Reserve Bank lowering interest rates, probably one of the few analysts to have been cool on the idea, and now the RBA minutes have actually come out.
Yes, well, they'll come out today.
Oh, they'll come out today.
And in fact, it's just, I suppose, that I've been watching Glenn Stevens for many years, and you know, you try and sort of second guess what's going to happen. And there was a lot of media built up, as you know, ahead of you know, that meeting, and also the fact that there were two decreases in the rates back last year in November and December. And I think it was a matter of really waiting for economic data. But we'll be waiting, you know, and watching very closely today, because Glenn Stevens is appearing in Sydney at the Australian Securities and Investment Committee. There's a meeting on today. He'll be questioned there, and again on Friday he's in Canberra with the House of Representatives Economics Committee. So people will be really looking to see how he will explain the reason why they left rates on hold. And of course, you know, we had the contagion effect of the banks, you know, deciding to go against that. So this will really be the first opportunity that we'll get to hear from Glenn Stevens today and again on Friday. So people will be looking at that very closely and looking at, you know, what's likely to be ahead, you know, when we come into March and April for those Reserve Bank meetings coming up.
And finally, if there is a resolution to that Eurozone finance ministers meeting in the next couple of hours, the Australian market will be the first to cast judgment on it.
Exactly, because Wall Street's closed last night, so we expect, you know, that will impact significantly on our market today.
Rod North, thanks very much for being with us this morning.
Thank you.
Now, while we're talking about money, how much do you think a burger is worth?